He calmly ordered a burger, ignoring the taunts of the teenagers who couldn't resist mocking him for his red MAGA hat. The crowd laughed, and security demanded he remove the provocative symbol, making the situation seem hopeless. But none of them realized that this elderly man was the very person they all owed their jobs to. What happened next completely changed their understanding of authority, respect, and the consequences of their own words. The protagonist walks into the food court, surrounded by the usual hustle and bustle. Calmly, he heads toward the burger counter, catching the attention of a group of teenagers. The leader, a tall boy with green hair, shouts, "Hey, old man! Is this a retro flashback? Got that hat at a flea market?" The group bursts into laughter, drawing the attention of bystanders. The man, unfazed, approaches the counter as if he hasn't noticed the commotion. This only fuels the teenagers' mischief, and they decide to surround him. "Well, Grandpa, ready for your personal protest rally?" The green-haired boy continues, holding up his phone to record. One of his friends nudges him, pointing at the hat. "Come on, take off that relic. Time for an upgrade." Without hesitation, the boy snatches the hat from the man's head, tosses it on the floor, and stomps on it. The man slowly turns, picks up the hat, and brushes off the dirt. "You seem very eager for attention, young man," he says in a calm, steady voice that immediately silences the crowd. "That's understandable at your age." The unexpected tone throws the teenagers off balance, but the green-haired boy isn't ready to back down. "Do you really think that hat makes you better than anyone else? It's just a piece of fabric," he shouts, still recording. The crowd begins to murmur, some filming, others laughing, while a few clearly disapprove of the teen's behavior. After a brief pause, the man leans slightly toward the green-haired boy and says, "It's remarkable how much you know about hats, yet how little you know about how to treat people." The crowd erupts in laughter. The teenagers grow visibly flustered, but the leader tries to regain control. "Maybe you're just scared, old man. Scared because you know your time is over." The man calmly places the hat back on his head and, addressing the crowd, remarks, "Times and trends may change, but respect for others should remain constant." These words draw cheers and applause. The crowd begins to side with the elderly man, leaving the teenagers looking foolish and uncomfortable. The man quietly approaches the burger counter, orders a double patty burger, fries, and a cola, as though nothing happened. His composure seems to provoke the teenagers even more. The green-haired boy sneers, "Oh, Grandpa's fueling up to keep saving America?" The man turns calmly and responds, "Don't worry, young man. I managed that quite well, even on an empty stomach." The crowd laughs, and the teenagers appear increasingly agitated. A girl in a pink hoodie, one of the green-haired boy's friends, chimes in. "Oh, maybe you're just too old to understand that your hat is a provocation," she says with a condescending smile. Unfazed, the man replies, "A provocation? I'd say your pink outfit is more fitting for that term, but to be fair, it suits your age." The crowd laughs again, and the girl blushes, muttering, "And who do you think you are to say anything?" The green-haired boy, now visibly irritated, steps closer, pointing at the hat. "This place is for normal people, not for those stuck in the past. Take off that embarrassing rag before we throw you out." The man tilts his head slightly, looking the boy directly in the eye. "Are you sure you understand what you're saying?" His calm tone carries a subtle undertone of authority, causing the boy to momentarily step back. Determined to save face, the teenager pulls out his phone and starts recording. "Go on, Grandpa. Tell us how that hat makes you great. Let the internet see the hero." As more bystanders pull out their phones, some chuckle, while others clearly disapprove of the teens. A young man in glasses steps forward from the crowd and speaks up. "Maybe you should just leave him alone. He's just trying to eat a burger. Don't you have anything better to do?" The green-haired boy snaps back. "And who are you, genius? His lawyer?" Before the argument escalates, the elderly man interjects with his steady voice. "Young man, don't worry. These kids are just learning how to grow up, though I must say they're not excelling at it." The crowd bursts into laughter again, and the teenagers grow visibly more agitated. The green-haired boy calls over a security guard, pointing at the man. "This old guy is provoking us with his hat. You need to kick him out." The guard, a burly man with a round face who looks exhausted from the night, approaches the man. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to remove the hat to avoid further conflict." The man, smirking slightly, pulls out his phone and says calmly, "Of course. If that's what you believe, let's confirm it with my colleague. One moment." He makes a couple of quick calls, speaking in short, clear phrases. "Yes, now, the mall food court. Your presence is needed." The crowd buzzes with curiosity. The green-haired boy smirks and whispers to his friends, probably calling his dad to whine about it. Ignoring the taunts, the man puts his phone away and resumes eating his burger, as composed as ever. The tension in the air is palpable, and everyone waits to see what will happen next. The entire food court fell silent, everyone frozen in anticipation. The teenagers, convinced they had pushed the situation to its peak, stood with their phones ready to record. The green-haired boy smirked, already imagining the caption for his video. "How we put an old guy in a MAGA hat in his place." A few minutes later, 3 men in sharp suits entered the food court. They exuded an air of authority, as if they had just left an important meeting. One of them, a tall man with impeccably styled hair, headed straight for the protagonist. All 3 wore pins on their lapels, state symbols and a crest, that immediately caught the crowd's attention. "Apologies for the delay, sir," the tall man said, extending his hand with respect. "We came as quickly as we could." The teenagers froze. The crowd murmured in surprise. The governor. Was it really him? The security guard, standing nearby, straightened up as if at attention. "The governor!" He breathed in disbelief. The green-haired teenager, now realizing the gravity of the situation, tried to keep his cool. "No way! This is a joke, right? He's just an old guy in a stupid hat." The governor turned to him, his face calm but tinged with a faint smile. "Young man, your confidence is impressive, but next time I suggest learning more about the people you choose to argue with." Turning to address the crowd, the governor raised his voice so everyone could hear. "I see many of you recording this. Allow me to clarify. This man is not just a respected citizen. He is my friend and advisor, who has dedicated decades of his life to serving this state." The murmurs grew louder as people whispered questions to one another. "Is that true? He's the governor's advisor?" The green-haired boy turned pale. His friends, visibly shaken, shuffled backward, whispering nervously. We didn't know," the boy stammered, his voice trembling. "It was just, a joke." The governor's tone turned more serious. "Jokes are wonderful, but your actions were far beyond what anyone could call funny. You humiliated a man you know nothing about, and now the entire world will see it." The crowd erupted in applause. A bystander shouted, "Serves them right! Let them learn some respect!" The protagonist rose from his seat and faced the teenagers. His expression remained calm, devoid of any anger. "Young people, life is a series of choices. Today, you made the wrong one, but you still have time to learn from your mistakes." The teenagers looked visibly shaken. The girl in the pink hoodie leaned toward the green-haired boy and whispered, "We should leave." Before they could slip away, the governor added firmly, "Before you go, you owe this man an apology, a genuine one." The teenagers exchanged uneasy glances, realizing they had no other option. They muttered apologies, staring at the ground. The crowd applauded again, this time louder. The governor concluded the moment with a powerful statement. "Remember, respect is not just a word, it's the foundation of a functioning society. Today, this is a lesson for you, and tomorrow, an opportunity to be better." His words felt like the final act of a theatrical performance. The crowd buzzed with conversation, while the teenagers, faces red with embarrassment, left the food court. The protagonist, still composed, shook the governor's hand and returned to his burger, as if nothing had happened. The teenagers hurried toward the exit, trying to slip away unnoticed, but their retreat was accompanied by mocking remarks and jeers from the crowd. "Enjoy your moment of fame, internet stars!" someone shouted, filming their exit. The green-haired boy attempted to act indifferent, but his flushed face betrayed his panic. His friends followed closely, avoiding eye contact with anyone. Meanwhile, all attention remained on the protagonist. The crowd applauded, showing their respect for his composure and dignity. Adjusting his cap, the man stood up and addressed the gathering with a small smile. "Thank you all for your support, but," he added with a touch of humor, "I hope the next time I come here, this food court will be a place for eating, not social experiments." The crowd burst into laughter and applause. The governor, still standing nearby, nodded approvingly. "Well said," he added. "You've always had a way of turning situations into teachable moments." At that moment, the food court manager rushed over, visibly nervous. He stammered as he approached the governor and the man. "My deepest apologies for everything. We had no idea who you were, sir. If only I had known." The governor raised his hand, cutting him off. "There's no need. This was a lesson for all of us." The manager quickly turned to the security guard, who still stood frozen in place. "Are you out of your mind? Asking the governor to remove his hat?" The guard, clearly embarrassed, stammered. I just wanted to avoid conflict." The governor interjected with a restrained smile. "Don't worry. I think you've already learned your lesson." As the crowd began to disperse, many lingered to shake the protagonist's hand, offering words of support and admiration. One young man, still filming, shouted, "This video is going viral for sure. What an incredible moment!" The protagonist chuckled and replied, "Let's hope it teaches someone that true strength lies not in words, but in actions." With that, the protagonist calmly left the food court alongside the governor and his entourage. As they walked through the mall, onlookers watched with awe and respect. Applause and cheers echoed faintly behind them. The governor's parting words summed up the entire ordeal. "Sometimes, all it takes is a single hat to reveal who we really are." And with that, the protagonist disappeared into the distance, leaving the crowd to reflect on what they had witnessed. The videos recorded by the teenagers and onlookers began to spread online, transforming the incident into a viral lesson on respect, composure, and the power of humility.